I'm not seeing. There we go. What's happening, good people? That's 8 in a row for the Birds. Good Lord. 8 in a row. Um, what a game. What a game. You guys got to be excited as Eagles fans to see what is going on with this football team and where they're going and how quickly they've turned this whole thing around. Um, I'm astonished. I'm somewhat amazed because I felt like, they had the potential to get here. Had no idea that the defense would evolve as fast as it has. And I don't think anybody really believed or thought that, we knew that Saquon was good, but nobody think he was this damn good. My goodness. I mean, the dude is just, skinny Batman called him Superman. 100%. I agree. So welcome to the show. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, and turning on those notifications over on the Seth Joyner channel on YouTube. Got some good giveaways going on as well. We got 2 tickets this week. My wife hates when I wear my hat because it shadows my eyes. So let me give you the little backwards hat turn. So this week we're giving away 2 tickets to this upcoming game. The 2 sweet tickets. And if you guys have been following me on social media, you've seen the promo. If you follow the pre and post game show right here on the channel, you've seen the promo and what you guys got to do to be eligible. We're either going to pick the winners either tomorrow or Thursday. I may go Thursday to give you guys, who are just here on the podcast, give you guys a chance to, get in the mix. And what else? We got some, we're giving away each week to the in-game viewers of the post-game show a mini helmet and a signed football. I've also got a Jalen Hurts and a Brandon Graham jersey, yet to be given away. We've already given away one of my jerseys, an A.J. Brown and a Saquon Barkley. So we got 2 more to go before, the season's over. So make sure you tune in to the pre and post game show on Sundays, to get involved with that. Let's talk about these Birds. And oh, by the way, it is a Talk to 'em Tuesday. The first half of the show, I'm going to kind of, go back and review the game a little bit and talk to you guys, about what I thought about the game and, how the Eagles went down there and dominated the football game. And in the second half of the show, it'll be all your questions. We'll do a little whiteboard tonight because I got some things that I want to show you, some things that the offense is doing. I just think that, I was talking about with Mike Quick last week, but I get the sense that I feel like I should say Jeff Stoutland is a offensive line blocking scheme savant with some of the things that he's doing and how he's confusing even the best of defenses. But, I got to start with the defense, to be honest with you, because this defense, my goodness, you talk about dominant. And I'm going to bitch and complain for a minute on behalf of Jalen Carter and Milton Williams and, to a certain extent, even Jordan Davis, because it seems like the referees have something out against our defensive tackles because they are blatantly missing calls. Against the Rams, they miss calls. You could just tell by the attitude of the referee in the Rams game. Every time he called a penalty on the Eagles, he kind of called it with a little bit of excitement and a little joy in his voice. And every time he had to call a penalty against the Rams, he was ho hum about it. I pay attention to stuff like that because it matters. It kind of gives me an idea early in the game what the mindset of the referees are and how they're going to call the game. Lo and behold, the following week they go down to Baltimore, and it's the same crap. Now, Baltimore's offensive line is the most penalized offensive line in the entire league. Okay, their right guard, I forget his first name, Makari. He is the most penalized guard in the National Football League. And they held Jalen Carter and Milton Williams all day long. And the Eagles didn't get one offensive holding penalty. And some of them were so egregious, you could just see. The one time Jalen beat a guy and the guy had him by, the white T-shirt and the T-shirt was all stretched out. I'm like, goodness, a blind man could see that's damn holding, man. Throw the freaking flag already. But it seems like these refs are bent to the place where they don't want to see the Eagles compete. They don't want to see them win. But guess what? This team is so good that no matter the fact that they've got to play against two opponents, you got the team across the field on wearing a completely different color, okay? And then you got the Zebras. They're supposed to be calling the game in all fairness. And the Eagles are in a place where they got to beat two teams every Sunday. But guess what? It's okay because they're good enough to do so, and they're doing so. They're overcoming the nonsense that these referees are doing. The refereeing in the National Football League is horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. And Nick Sirianni needs to submit some of these to the league for review. I understand why he might not and why he might not make a big deal about it, because as a coach, you're telling your players, hey, you can't do anything about the calls that you get or you don't get. You can prevent the ones that are on you. Because 9 times out of 10, the reason why there's a penalty is because a guy gets beat or he's out of position. So now you're trying to figure out how to scramble, because you're out of position. You got to grab, you got to hold, you got to do something illegal to try to keep that guy, try to keep the opponent from beating you even further. But I understand why Nick wouldn't do it, because he's preaching to his guys, play through it, play through it, play through it. Because I've seen it consume a team to the point where you begin to lose focus of really what's important, and that's playing the game and beating your opponent. All right? I'll jump off that pedestal. Hopefully, the NFL gets this right. And I get the sense that they probably will. They got 2 games at home. There'll be some makeup calls over the next 2 weeks. But it needs to be consistent everywhere you are. You can't the referees are there to call the game the way that it's supposed to be called, not to be a reason why a team wins or loses a football game. Okay? If it's a legitimate call, make the call. If it's not a legitimate call, then let it go and keep it moving. Simple. All right? But listen, this defense is just phenomenal. I mean, you guys, we have the Philadelphia Eagles defense. They're ranked the number 1 defense in the National Football League right now. They're number 2 against the pass. That's wrong. Let me get my numbers together here. They are number 7 against the run and number 3 against the rush. Those were the numbers going into last week's game. And they're first in total offense. They're only giving up 274 yards. They're 6th in points scored. They're only giving up 18 points per game, and everybody's playing lights out. Vic Fangio, if I was wearing my hat the other way, I'd tip it to him, but I'm going to tip the back to him, because what he's been able to do with these young guys is nothing short of just phenomenal. Because when you think about it, when you have this many young players on your team, a lot of times the verbiage is, but they got to develop. Well, listen, they drafted 2 guys in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell that's ready right now, and they have proven it week after week after week. That form tackle by Cooper DeJean on Derrick Henry in the 4th quarter, listen, it lit up the sideline. It enthused every Eagles fan any and everywhere. And, we'll be talking about that play and the Saquon Barkley, backwards hurdle for a long time, especially, if this team continues to thrive the way that they're thriving and they end up where we think they could possibly end up when the season's said and done. McCollum stepped in for an injured Reed Blankenship, and the team didn't miss a beat. I don't think the I don't think we actually lose anything with Rodgers replacing Darius Slay. And I said this when he got injured the first time. I would just leave Rodgers on the field, put him on injury reserve, and allow him to get fully healed before you bring him back. Because he started off with the hamstring, then it turned into something else on the same leg, and it just it. When you've been in the league that long and you start getting nicked up like that, it just gets worse. It doesn't get better. So the best thing that they can do is they can just put him down, put him on IR, let him get fully healed. Because if they don't, he's just going to keep coming back and getting injured, keep coming back and getting injured. And it may get to a place at some point in time where they lose him indefinitely and you don't have access to him because he's got a long-term injury. That's just my opinion. Who else? I think Vic Fangio is going to have to figure out the second slot guy because Avonte Maddox, my goodness, the guy was on the field for 2 plays. He got beat for 1. He got a penalty on the other. I feel for him because, he lost his job to Cooper DeJean. So he's really that dime guy when they go the dime package, one linebacker. He's the guy that comes in a lot of time when teams go 4 wides. And the problem is, he's in that unenviable place of trying to make a play and trying to do something, to keep himself in favor with the team and with the defensive coordinator. And I know what that looks like. Sometimes you try to do too much. You're trying to be too aggressive. And you can just tell he's over hyper all the time. There's no calmness about him whatsoever because he's getting limited plays. And he comes in the game and teams target him. They go after him every single time he steps foot on the field because they see him as the weak link. Now, I don't know whether that's Sidney Brown, whether Sidney's too aggressive in that situation, whether they don't trust him in coverage. I don't know whether that's Keely Ringo. I don't know who it is, but they're going to have to figure it out because anytime that they can force the Eagles to have to get into a dime situation, guess what? They're going to attack Avonte Maddox. The linebackers, what more can I say? I mean, I'm giving these guys accolades, it seems like every single week. And the other thing I love about the way the linebackers are playing at this moment is that, they are leading the team 1 and 2 in tackles every single week. Now, that's the way it's supposed to be. The linebackers are supposed to be the tackling machines, the leaders of tackling on the field. That's the way defenses are designed. When you start seeing, safeties and corners leading the team in tackles, that means that, you're getting beat at the second level. The way these guys are playing, they're playing downhill. The front guys with, Jalen Carter, I already talked about him. He is a superstar in the making and the next generation of great defensive tackles in Eagles football history, in my opinion. Milton Williams stepped up. Josh Sweat is on a run. I believe that's 8 sacks in the last 8 games. Nolan Smith had a sighting and played well. I think Nolan had 8 tackles on the day. So he's playing well. And then Jalix Hunt, a guy they brought up because of BG, had a half a sack. Him and Zach Bond shared one. So you got all of these good things going on with this defense. And guess what? I'm of the opinion that this defense is just scratching the surface of how good, how great they can actually be. Because you got to wonder, how much of the game plan, how much of the playbook has Vic Fangio fed these guys at this point? If the first 4 games they go 2 and 2, you want to ask yourself, okay, if that's truly your preseason, and Saquon has said it, some other people have disputed it, but the way that they played, it looked like their preseason. Okay, the first game they were very aggressive against Green Bay. The second game against the Falcons, they were very unaggressive. Then they came back up against the Browns, and they were super aggressive again. And then they went down to Tampa Bay and played the corners 10 yards off the ball, and they were very passive and got their asses handed to them in Tampa Bay. They go into the bye, and all of a sudden they come back, and they just took off. They took a Maddox off the field. They put Cooper DeJean in, and from that point forward, this defense has literally just taken off. and they're playing lights out right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you got an offense that can run the ball the way that our offense is running the ball and a defense that can play the way that they play, that travels. I don't care where you go or what you got to do, you can get it done. The Eagles also, in the red zone, they rank 5th in the red zone. I'm shocked that it's not better. It may be better after last week. I believe that I'm trying to remember in my mind the numbers, but I believe that the Eagles forced a they forced 3 field goals, 2 of which was missed, and um, one missed extra point. And those 7 points are big, but when you get stops like that, especially as I transition to the offensive side of the ball, especially when you look at the offense and how they struggle at the beginning of the game, and there's this pattern. I don't understand why it is that the Eagles offense, can't get started right out the gate. I don't know whether it's, they don't implement the first 15 because what they're trying to do is figure out what the offense is going to feed them. I don't know whether it's the first 15 aren't that effective, but the one thing that they do is that at some point in time, by the time you go into the second quarter, now all of a sudden it seems to me that they figured out how the defense is going to attack them on the day, and they make their adjustments on the fly. Now that's a good thing because the NFL is all about adjustments. But at the other end of the spectrum, I was a little scared because the Baltimore Ravens, the first 2 possessions, they went 7 plays, 51 yards, kicked a 34-yard field goal. They came back the second possession of the game. They went 8 plays, 82 yards, and they throw the strike to Andrews, the 14-yard touchdown. All of a sudden, after the extra missed point, the Ravens are up 9-0. And I'm like, we got to score some points to kind of at least keep pace until we get hot. The Eagles offense went 4 plays, 3 plays, 3 plays, 4 plays, and out the first 4 series, and they had a total of 23 yards in total offense on those 4 possessions. Then they turn around, the last 2 possessions of the first half, they go 6 plays, 49 yards, touchdown to Dallas Goedert. Then they turn around, they go 9 plays, 68 yards, tush-push touchdown to Jalen Hurts. And oh, by the way, for you Jalen Hurts haters that are out there that's talking about how inefficient and how ineffective he is, chew on this, okay? In the first half, in that 2-touchdown drive, okay, Jalen was 7 of 8 for 86 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Now, he only threw the ball 19 times, and I get it. His completion percentage was nothing outstanding, okay? But when they asked him to throw the ball down those last 2 possessions of the first half, okay, 7 of 8, I think we take that all day long, okay? We take that all day long. A.J. Brown, in that span, 5 catches for 66 yards, okay? And Jalen was throwing dimes, lasers in the middle of the field, on the sideline, stop routes, slant routes, read option slants. He was dealing. So if you really want to be honest with yourself, think about it. If they asked Jalen to do that on a more regular basis, he's proven in the past that he could actually do that. He proved it during that 2 series of touchdowns that he could do that. Okay? So let's stop with the Jalen hate. It's absolutely ridiculous. And when I tell you this one, you're going to be as shocked as I was when I realized it. Jalen only threw 2 passes in the second half. 2 passes. Saquon Barkley had 16 carries for, I believe it was 62 yards in the second half of the game. So what I'm trying to show you guys is they're not asking Jalen to throw the ball because they're dominating the line of scrimmage. They're not asking him to not throw the ball because he can't. That's a lie. Every year is different, and every team is different. And this team is built more towards using the strength of the offensive line and using the strength of Saquon Barkley as the linchpin for this offense right now. So are we going to take away from Jalen Hurts because this is how the offense is now designed to operate? When we've seen what he can do when called upon to actually do it. And the play calling makes sense. They went play action pass from under center. They went read option pass. When you give him all of these things, especially when you've established a run game, don't get it twisted. He can throw the ball. He can throw the ball. And for you liars who say that, oh, you know, he doesn't have a strong arm, the year that he came out of college, the only other quarterback who had more velocity on their passes was Justin Herbert. Just barely. I think Justin Herbert was throwing the ball 53 miles per hour and Jalen Hurts was throwing it 51. Okay? I just want to clear it up. I'm not here to defend him, but I hear all the chatter. I hear all the nonsense. I hear the pundits on ESPN and Fox and everywhere else that's comparing him to to the other quarterbacks in the league. You know, his statistics are the minimum amount of passes that he's thrown, the touchdowns that he's thrown, and overall touchdowns and turnovers is better than Jared Goff in some instances, or comparable to Patrick Mahomes in some instances. Okay, these are two of the top quarterbacks in the National Football League. Am I correct? Okay, so let's look at the statistics and say that and be real instead of looking at the statistics from game to game and saying, oh, well, Jalen's not doing this and he's not doing that. Or, you know, the only thing that I worry about is Jalen Hurts. Will he be able to in the playoffs? Will he be able to not be the weak link? He's already proven to you that he can be the strong link. You know, in the Super Bowl, he outperformed Patrick Mahomes in that game. Did we forget? So now all of a sudden, because they're not asking him to throw the ball all over the map, averaging 20 passes per game and completing 16 of those 20 passes on average for just under 200 yards, all of a sudden he can't throw the ball? It's just a new age. They're not asking him to throw it because they can run the ball and dominate the line of scrimmage with the offensive line. And when they need to throw it, they can go play action pass because they are running the football and get what they need to get done. Now, okay, so I'll move off of Jalen Hurts in the offense. Saquon Barkley is just a beast. Okay, you just know that sooner or later, if you keep hammering and you keep wearing and you keep hammering, that sooner or later he's going to break out. The Eagles ran the ball 33 times the other night for 140 yards, 107 of which Saquon got on 26 carries and a touchdown. That 25-yard touchdown broke the back of the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so if that's how you're going to operate, I know it's not sexy. I know it's not what the analytics people want to see. The analytics people want you to come out and throw the ball all over the map and justify why you're paying these quarterbacks $40, $50, $60 million a year. Is the objective for Jalen Hurts to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns every week, or for the Philadelphia Eagles as a team to win football games? I think you guys know the answer to that, and I think all of you would agree. But these idiots that are on TV that have a voice that are chiming all this nonsense make no sense whatsoever because they bought into, you know, the analytical bullshit, you know, that they spit at us all the time. And I'm not here for it. I'm here for the Eagles to win as many games as they can, to potentially get the number 1 seed so that everything has to come through the link, and for them to go down to New Orleans and us come marching back up Broad Street up to the Art Museum in the dead of winter, freezing our asses off and cheering the Eagles for winning another Super Bowl. That's what I'm here for. Everything else is academic. And the thing I love about Jalen, he don't give a damn either. The thing I love about this football team, they don't give a damn. They root for each other to be successful. They cheer for each other, you know, to have individual successes on the field, and they don't care who gets the glory. All they want to do is win. All they care about is winning. And when you have, and don't get me wrong, that is not a common thing. I played on some selfish football teams in my career. I know what that looks like, where you're playing well and the guy standing next to you, or the guy with his hand on the ground, or the guy behind you is jealous because, you know, your career is taking off. That's a cancer. It's a cancer because you can't be happy for your teammates. That just ain't a good place to be. But this team is different. You know, they care about each other. They take care of each other. They play for each other, and they celebrate each other. And that's all you can ask for. You know, and I know I've been critical of Nick Sirianni, but I give him credit for creating that environment that culture where it is that way. Even though I do believe the culture is fostered by wins and losses. What winning team do you ever see bitching and complaining about anything? Not a single one. The ones that bitch and complain are the losing teams. Why? Because things ain't going right. Somebody feels like they need to get more balls. Somebody feels like, if I was the center of attention, we'd be winning football games. Those are the dynamics of losing football teams. Winning football teams don't get caught up in that. Therefore, their culture is always good. All right? All right, let's jump over to the board. I want to show you guys some things before we take the first break. And then we are going to come back, and it'll be just you guys and your questions. So two things I want to talk to you guys about. I just think that I believe that Jeff Stoutland is a football savant. Now, I'm going to draw up a play for you guys that I saw in film study that absolutely blew my mind because I've never seen it before. And as a linebacker, you don't even know where the hell to read, okay? So I believe it was against the Rams that they actually ran this play, okay? So the quarterback's here. The Rams were aligned, in their base four-man front. That tackles in a 2. This tackles in a 3. And then you had the defensive end out here. You had a linebacker aligned here and a linebacker stacked here, okay? They went double trap. Never in my life have I ever seen this, okay? And this is what the blocking scheme looked like, okay? The tight end blocked out on the end. Nope, that's wrong. Let me take that away. The tackle blocked out on the end, okay? The tight end, this guard pulled. So this guy got up the field. That's the trapper, okay? That's the first trap. The center blocked back on the linebacker. When he blocked back, this guy pulled out and got the end, okay? He came up the field. That's the second trapper. And then this guy blocked out on the end, okay? Now, if you're a linebacker, the first thing that's going to happen is if I'm reading the uncovered lineman. The uncovered lineman for the linebacker on this side is this guard, okay? When that guard pulls, guess where I'm going, okay? When this guard pulls, this linebacker's going where? He gets hit right in the mouth, right there. And they're trapping. So look at the lane. You got a lane here, okay? And then here's the other trapper. He's going to get sealed outside. So there's your lane there. And here's your trapper here, and there's your lane. So now they turn around and hand the ball to Saquon. Saquon can either come through this lane, or Saquon can read it and come through this lane. I have never, in all my days of playing football and in all my days of analyzing football, I've never seen anything this unique. So you can just imagine, the trepidation that goes on in the minds of defensive players, particularly the linebackers and the safeties, trying to figure out where the hell they fit. It's just incredible. Here's another one. Eagles line up, 2 tight ends, okay? Here's Hurts. Here's Saquon, okay? And the intent was to put this defensive end in conflict, okay? So they're running the read option on this side, but they're pulling both of these guys away. I'm telling you. I mean, as a linebacker, the minute I see these guys pulling, I'm screaming over here, okay? So now this guy is in conflict. Why? Because if he crashes, Jalen pulls and goes. First thing. If he waits, Saquon Barkley takes the ball, shoots here, because you got to realize that this tackle is reacting to what's going on, just like that linebacker. That guy's pulling, he's trying to hold ground right there. So he doesn't really see what's going on, okay? So that's the first thing. Then they turn around and they run the same action, okay? I think they may have ran it out of pistol. Yep. I think they ran the same thing, but they ran it out of pistol. Okay. Nope. This is what they did. They ran it here. So he came across. Jalen faked it. These two guys pull. He got kicked out because you got to realize these guys are blocking back. He pulls up in the hole. Jalen pulls the ball and runs. I mean, some of the things that they're doing are so damn confusing and so difficult for defenses to be able to stop. Okay, so the first play that I showed you guys, this one where they pull away and they run the read option to put this guy in the conflict, they're doing that because they have the numbers to do it. Okay, teams are going to overload. You got your tackle, your end, your linebackers. A lot of times they'll, that corner sitting here, or they'll drop the safety down. But really what winds up happening, if you look at the numbers, here's your center. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the safety somewhere around here, okay? So any kind of action you got here, he's going to hold the point. He's coming, okay? That guy blocks down, the linebacker's coming, okay? That guy's going to try to fight through. Now, they've got too many numbers over here on this side of the ball to really handle the run to this side. They've overloaded it because you got the two tight ends over here, okay? So this run right here, think about it. You got 1, 2, 3, okay? And the quarterback is the extra guy, because think about this. If he hands this ball off to Saquon and this guy dives, there's nobody to account for Jalen taking the ball around the corner. So they're playing the numbers game over here to combat the overload on this side in the run game. Now, they'll run it over here sometimes. They'll run the ball over here sometimes just to give the defense the illusion. But this right here, this numbers game right here, this is the key, because they're always going to make hay with this. And now if they get outside, whether it's Saquon or whether it's slot corner, whether it's Saquon or whether it's Jalen with the ball, this safety's got to be the guy is one-on-one. I love the prospect of having Saquon one-on-one with a damn safety in the open field, because 9 times out of 10, guess what? He's going to miss the tackle. All right? So that's our whiteboard stuff for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love watching film and trying to figure out, some of this new crazy stuff that defenses, and offenses are trying to do. But those couple of plays really caught me off guard. And I got some more. Like, you guys see, I got them drawn up. I got like 3 of them. They got a trap, and then they got, the 21 read, where you get the double team on the 2 tackles, and Saquon can pick wherever he wants to hit it. And if the 2 double teams stay on long enough and they get enough movement, that's 5 yards every single time that they line up in that situation. Because they have the numbers. You got 5 down linemen and a tight end. Dallas Goedert staying in the block against 4 down and 2 linebackers. So that's really man on blocking when it's all said and done. The other thing I want to give credit to Kellen Moore. I don't know if you guys saw it or witnessed it during the game. The chess match was palpable in this game, because every single time in the second half, not the second half, I will say during that the 2 last drives, there were 14 plays in that drive, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns. I love the play calling, because every single time that and Nick Sirianni talks about this, about Jalen making the right decisions on the field. Every time they had 2 high safeties, okay, Jalen checked to a run play. And I can remember watching the game, and I see the 2 safeties, I'm like, this should be run. Boom, they ran the ball effectively. The minute that they dropped the extra safety in the box to take care of the run, and they went single high safety, now you can go read option and throw those slants to AJ. If they're going to drop off in zones, you can run those routes to hit in the holes in the zone, and he would check out of the run and he would go to the pass. and it was this constant chess match that was going on. And every once in a while, he'd throw a play in, even though they had, 7 in the box, he would run it anyway. But for the most part, when they went 2 high safeties, they ran the football. When they went single high safety, Jalen checked and threw the ball to AJ, threw the ball to Dallas, threw that one pass, that 7-yard completion to Jahan Dotson. They got to figure out a way to get this guy more involved, all right? So let's take a quick break. When we come back, nothing but your calls. The last, 25 minutes of the show, all right? Be back in a sec.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them. Sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours.
At Pond Lee Hockey, we're neither a pond nor a hockey team. In fact, I don't even know how to skate.
Cut.
We're the injury law firm that you want fighting for you.
With our vast network of attorneys across the country, we know the playbook on injury law.
It's how Pond Lee Hockey recovered billions of dollars for more than 100,000 injured and disabled workers.
And we know we can do the same for you.
So give Pond Lee Hockey a call. No other law firm will fight harder for you.
And you'll never pay a dime until we win.
It's the most wonderful time with the kids jingle. Be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful.
Whether your phone's broken or old, we've got you. With Verizon, anyone can trade in any phone, any condition. And get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. And iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all 3 on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Hello?
Since 1893, Weber Display and Packaging has been Pennsylvania's leading manufacturer of corrugated packaging and displays. We're family owned with 4 Philadelphia locations, 2 converting facilities, a warehouse, and a fulfillment center. Designed through delivery, we exceed customer needs. Weber Display and Packaging. Our core values drive everything we do. Come join our team. All right, guys, we're back. I want to thank you guys, for the support. You guys here every week with me across all channels on the Seth Joyner Show channel on YouTube. Make sure you continue to like, follow, and comment and hit that subscription button, and as well as the notification button for everything that we got going on. Thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. All right, so let's jump into the questions. This last half of the show will be just me taking your questions and answering whatever thoughts, comments, or concerns you have. All right? So Adam wants to know, they haven't lost since Mustard. Who is Mustard? And you must be talking about Cooper DeJean. You talking about that mustard that he put on Derrick Henry? Hey, listen, I agree. He came back. He started in week 5. You're correct. Week 6, the 5th game. And they haven't lost the game, haven't come close to losing the game since he came into the lineup. All right? Next question. Mr. Carter 7 wants to know how we quietly rebuilt this team without any real drop-off. I agree. Listen, Howie's had his moments where he did not, perform well. But for the most part, he's hit on his first-round draft picks. In the last probably 6 drafts, I would say he's missed. The only massive mistake that he made was taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Other than that, he's been spot on. He had, especially in the first 2 rounds, you had Quinyon and Cooper, and then last year you had Carter and Nolan Smith. The year before you had Davis and N'Kobe, even though he wasn't the second. I think that might have been the year that he took Dickerson. Don't quote me on it. I see, all 5 or 6 of those years just recently today. It just doesn't come to my memory right now exactly, what year and what guys were taken. But, the last 5, maybe 6 drafts, his first and second round draft picks, which are always the foundational basis of your football team, he's knocked it out of the park. He just hasn't missed. In large part, I always say, how do you screw that up? Not to take any credit away from him, because guess what? If you draft, the only time I say you draft for need is when your football team is right there on the precipice of the Super Bowl, and you got somebody else's first round pick, and you have a need at a specific position, then you go get that player. But when you're in a position where the Eagles have been, over the last so many years, you take the best player available. The data's right there for you. There's nobody in their right mind that could have looked at Jalen Reagor and thought that he was better than Justin Jefferson collegiately, or how he projected, to the NFL level, because he played the slot, he played outside, and I get it. Jalen Reagor was a punt returner at TCU, and so and he ran a fast 40, But if you looked at his body of work on the field and the competition level that he went up against, there was nothing in your right mind that made you believe that guy was ever going to be better than Justin Jefferson. All right? Okay, next question. Jay Koch wants to know, it seems every time Jalen breaks the pocket, he has to throw it away because all the route concepts are longer development. And listen, Jay, that was a problem last year. I still see it a problem this year. A lot of people are still complaining about, Jalen's holding on to the ball too long. But let's be honest. If ain't nobody open, who the hell is he going to throw it to? Who is he going to throw it to? That's why, to me, the all-22 vision of the field is so important, because when we watch the game on Sundays, we're seeing where the ball is and where the quarterback is. We're looking at, what's important from a TV perspective. But from the perspective of football, you need to see the all-22 to really understand what's going on. So when people say, oh, he missed a wide open receiver over here, well, that's on the right side. His progression started on the left, and he never got back to the right. So what do you want him to do? You want him to have eyes on the side of his head while he's looking over here? He can be looking over there at the same time? Come on, let's use some common sense. But when people don't understand football and they listen to the nonsense that they hear from people outside that act like they know some football, then they start believing and thinking it's nonsense. And you're right. A lot of their route concepts are too long. Like, I saw a route that they ran, the pass interference. I think it was on Dallas Goedert, and they didn't call it. He's running up the field, but the entire route was an all-go route, all seams. I'm like, you got to give him somewhere to come back and dump the ball off. And sometimes, Saquon gets caught up in a situation where he's check releasing. But if that's the design, you got to understand how a quarterback thinks. If coach calls all seams, he wants me to throw one of these damn seams, okay? But if the defense, which wins sometimes, covers it up, where do I go with the ball? And to be honest with you, Jay, I would rather see him scramble, and when things become tenuous and there's nothing there, I'd rather see him throw it away. Like, he took a sack last week in the game where he slid right before he was scrambling. I'm like, throw the damn ball away. He's scrambling and he slides right at the line of scrimmage. That's a sack because you didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Why would you take that step? Throw the damn ball away. But that's one of his flaws. One of his flaws is to wait for the route to develop. Okay? Let's wait I'm confident my guy at some point in time, he's going to get open. Listen, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Now you've gone too far. When you get to 2.5 1,000, that damn ball better be out of your hand or the rush is going to get you. And he's got to learn how to do that. Throw the ball away. We'd rather have 2nd and 10 than 2nd and 15. Now you have almost damn near no chance of converting on 3rd downs, even if you get half of it on 2nd down. Well, guess what? You're still 3rd and 8. But a lot of it is route design. And I consistently look at this offense, and I'm not trying to be critical. How the hell do you criticize a team that's 10-2, that won 8 games in a row. It's hard to be critical, but you ask the question, and when you ask the question, it's up to me to give you the answer and give you what I believe and what I think. I think that the Eagles' routes concepts sometimes are too simplistic because I watch other teams run routes to beat coverages. They're coverage beaters. Well, they'll get 2 guys that put pressure on the safety, and then they get a crosser underneath, and the defense loses the crosser, and he's out there all by himself. How many times do you see the Eagles wide receiver catch balls like that? Most of the balls, this cornerback is right there on them, or they're contesting the pass. But very rarely do you see them be able to get to a place where they can get a guy free. And the other thing is the picks that they run. I'm gonna have a producer throw the whiteboard back up just for a second, okay? Because I just want to show you guys this, and this drives me crazy. Not only about the Eagles and when they run their pick concepts, but every other team in the league. Okay, so if I got 2 receivers out here, okay, and I'm trying to run a pick, cornerbacks here, cornerbacks here. If I'm trying to get this guy to go run a pick to free this guy up, okay, instead of me running at him, okay, because I think that either Calcaterra or Dallas Goedert has gotten 2, maybe 3 of these calls during the year, okay, where they literally run into the guy. The most simple thing to do, okay, and they're never going to call this, is if you run at the guy and hook up so he has to go through you. Now hook up, okay? If you hook up and that guy bumps into you, it's not a penalty. But if you run right at him and bump him, they're going to call that every day of the week. So I'm just trying to figure out, you got these coaches that are supposed to be, coaching savants, coaching geniuses. Please pray and tell me why nobody is doing this. Run the guy at him. When you get at him, hook up and get your eyes back at the quarterback. When that guy runs into you, okay, and he goes to the flat all day long, you're going to have the free runner, and it's never going to be a problem. But I see this call around the National Football League every single week when they're trying to run pick plays, and it makes no sense to me because all you got to do is stop, hook up, and let the defender run into you. But if you're facing the defender, they're going to call that penalty every single day, every single time, all right? But I agree with you, Jay. All right, next question. Brandon wants to know what I think is taking Howie so long to re-sign Zach Bond to a longer deal. Hey, listen, nobody really knows. I mean, I think Howie knows he needs to get it done. I think that Zach knows that they probably need to get it done. I look like I'm frozen, man. There we go. But I also believe that Howie's got to come up with a number that makes sense for Zach, because Zach signed a 1-year prove-it deal, and they have, no restricted free agent rights to him. The way he's playing, if he messes around and makes the Pro Bowl, he's going to be asking for some serious dollars. Now, if I was Zach, personally, I wouldn't sign any more than a 2-year deal. And this is why. Because he has the ability to be this type of player in this system. And I don't think Vic Fangio is going anywhere anytime soon. But he has the ability in this system to play like this each and every year. Okay? So you don't have to go and get the 4 or 5 year deal. Okay? You want the 2-year deal. If he's making $1 million, okay, Howie would probably pay him $3 to $4 million a year. And if he proves it on the second deal, after 2 more years, he's still a young guy, guess what? Now you're in position to really get the bag, because, you go to another Pro Bowl or 2 more Pro Bowls, and then the next thing you know, you're commanding $10 to $15 million a year. I think the top linebackers are making right around $15 million a year, okay? Howie's not going to give you that. No other team is going to give you that off of a 1 year, prove-it deal. They're going to want to see it again. But they're also going to want to try to lock you into a 3, 4, 5-year deal, which you shouldn't take, because you're going to minimize your ability to get a max deal somewhere down the road, whether it's with the Eagles or with someone else. And I know what you guys are saying, but listen, I know what you're saying as far as what I'm saying is, we don't want him to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, either the team that you play for wants to sign you and sees the value in you, or somebody else does. That's what free agency is all about. It's the same reason why I left the Eagles. They didn't see my value, and there were other teams out there that did. Green Bay saw it. San Francisco 49ers saw it. Ultimately, the Arizona Cardinals saw it at the top end, and largely because, Buddy was the coach there. I never wanted to leave Philadelphia, but they weren't nowhere in the ballpark of what I was worth on the open market. So I had no other choice but to walk, okay? Plus, I didn't want to play for Norman Braman and Rich Kotite anymore, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I think they'll get it done. It'll be interesting to see what the numbers wind up being and what he winds up selling for. I just would not, just personally knowing that they're not going to pay him the big dollars on a 1 year deal because he had this great season. The organization is going to want to see him do it again. And if that's the case, do not sign more than a 2 year deal so that you can go back and get your bag after you prove it over the next 2 years. You don't want to get caught up in a 3 year deal or a 4 year deal, because the only thing that's going to wind up happening is, now, and that all depends on how much money he's trying to make. If you're trying to get the bag, 2 year deal. If you're just happy to, make $7, $8, $9 million over the next 2 or 3 years, then you go with that. That's just my opinion. All right. Next question. Billy Cummings Jr. wants to know, Mr. Joyner, what do you think when a team leads the league in penalties and only gets one call of the 7 called by the officials? I think that the referees are horrendous. My producer pulled that question. I talked about it at the beginning of the show in detail. I just get the sense that the referees do not want to see the Eagles succeed, and they're making the Eagles not only beat the opponents, but beat them in the way that they actually call the game. It's just, the Eagles had like 6 or 7 penalties in the first quarter alone of that game. No wonder they went, 4 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 4 and out. They couldn't get out of their own damn way. But San Francisco didn't, the Ravens didn't get any penalties, I believe, in their first 2 series, the first 2 drives. And to your point, yeah, they are the most penalized offensive line in the National Football League. In particular, that guard, McCary, he went to last week's game with 21 penalties. 21 penalties in 12 games. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The refs got to do better. Next question. One King wants to know, does watching Jalen Carter remind you of Jerome Brown? He absolutely does, even much more so than Fletcher Cox. I thought Fletcher Cox was good, above average, maybe slightly above good. I never thought that Fletcher Cox was great. That's just my opinion. I've seen too many, great defensive tackles and played with too many great ones, to ever believe that he was great. I never thought that Fletcher Cox really loved football. But when I watched Jalen Carter reminds me of Jerome Brown. He is dominant. It's almost impossible to block him with one man. And when you double team him, he will destroy one of the double teams, which effectively makes the other guy on the double team fall off. And he's in the backfield. He is a disruptive force. He makes everybody else around him better from the standpoint of when he's rushing the passer and he's pushing the pocket or he's beating guys at the line of scrimmage and hurrying the quarterback. That creates sacks on the outside for everybody else. And if you look and you watch, he's dominant in the run game because he understands where he fits. Jordan Davis has been dominant, the last few weeks because he's eating up double teams and they're not able to move him off the ball. Milton Williams, when he comes in, is a guy that not only can rush the passer, but he's stout against the run. And then when you get Booker and Ajomo, when they get their opportunities, they make the best of it. But hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know, he reminds me of Jerome Brown, and I believe that he's the next guy in the ascension of great defensive tackles in Philadelphia Eagle history. And before it's all said and done, he might be the best that they ever had, just because he has the ability and the possibility of playing a lot longer than Jerome played. All right? Eagle Rod wants to know, how would I script our first series of plays in the first half, and how many runs versus how many passes? And listen, Rob, if this is a running team, then stay true to who you are. I just think that Jalen's a better quarterback if you from time to time put him under center, which they're doing more and more of that of. I think he's a better quarterback when you give him play action opportunities. What quarterback is it? Like Jared Goff, you have to run his ass out of the league if he didn't have those two running backs and he couldn't play action pass. You know, Brock Purdy, he'd be out of the league if he didn't have Christian McCaffrey. When everything's going well, what makes that offense go is Christian McCaffrey and the play action pass off of that. Jalen Hurts is no different. So I would probably script maybe 45, 55 runs to pass. I felt like this week they could have done that. You know, they came out and they threw the ball a little bit in the first half, the first couple of series. But I'll tell you exactly how many. So the first 4 plays, they ran 2 run plays, 2 pass plays. The next 2 3 and outs, they went 1 run, 1 run. So that means that Jalen threw the ball either on first or second down. They ran it 1 time, then on third down he threw it incomplete or got sacked. The third series, they gained 21 yards. They probably got 1 first down. They had 4 plays, 3 runs, okay? Or maybe 2 runs. So offensive coordination is about, I'm going to run running plays and have pass plays off those running plays to make it look like I'm going to run it, but we're going to go play action off of it. And I got a series of runs that look the same, and I got a series of passes off of it, okay? So that's how I would script it. Now, it can't just be the same thing, because what you want to do is you want to introduce a couple of different looks, a couple of different formations to make the offense, or make the defense rather, play you honestly, but also to make them think about how you're trying to attack them. Because for all they know, you got 10 different plays for every formation, and half of them are run and half of them are pass. But that's how I would set it up. I'd come out, I try to establish the run early, and I go play action pass. Because once I go play action pass, now I've forced them to put the other guy in the box, because we run the ball effectively. Now that I got the extra guy in the box, now I go play action pass. And like I said, I thought last week the game plan should have been come out, go play action heavy. Like I would have thrown the ball the first 10 plays of the game last week. I would have came out, I would have play action heavy with Jalen under center. I would have play action heavy and threw slants, stops, comebacks, tight ends sitting down over the middle, read option, slants, all of that stuff. And then once I got them to back off because, they're a running team, they're first in the National Football League in running, but they came out throwing the ball all over the damn map. Well, we better get back in too high safety. Now that I got you where I want you, or now that I got you where I want you, now I can start implementing my running game, okay? And then once I start implementing my running game and I set that up, now it's just a good mixture. Run the pass, pass the run, pass the run. Because I got you confused, and I talked about it in pregame last year. I can remember we went to Kansas City when Kansas City had Christian Okoye and Barry Word, okay? They were the number 1 running offense in the National Football League, and we were the number 1 against the run, okay? Dave Craig was the quarterback. They play action the first 10 plays of the game. The game was over after those 10 plays because we were playing the run so heavy and attacking the run, we were not going to let Christian Okoye and Barry Word get off. But they play action the hell out of us, and by the time we got to halftime, that damn game was over. And I just felt like that's something that the Eagles could have implemented and did last week. Listen, it all worked out, but I talked about it in our pregame show. our Bet Parks pre and post game show presented by Pond Hockey, I talked about that this is something that they can do to kind of throw a little wrench in the mix. And you know that Nick and Kellen like to mix it up a little bit. I think that's how I would have attacked them. It's exactly how I would have attacked them. Because if you're the number one ranked rushing offense in the National Football League, then the mindset is, hey, they're going to come out running the ball. Well, if you think that and you're going to be overly aggressive and attack the line of scrimmage, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to play action your ass and throw the ball to my receiver. Now, maybe they don't do that because they don't have Devontae and you only have AJ. Maybe if you got Devontae on the field, that presents a whole different, set of problems for an offense. So when they're full strength, you can do that. But you asked me how I would attack it, that's how I would attack it. All right, folks, that's a wrap for tonight. I got to run. I appreciate you guys tuning in and being with me. I'll be back here again next week, same place, same time. Hopefully we'll be celebrating another Birds win. That'll be 9 in a row and getting ready for those Steelers coming to town. Make sure you guys follow me over on social media. Go over to the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification. And as always, take care of each other and be good to each other. But most important, make sure you love each other. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Gentlemen, are you ready for a wardrobe update? Introducing Divine Nine's Custom Menswear, your clothier for truly unique, custom-made threads. With Divine Nine, you can design your own one-of-a-kind suit, jacket, slacks, shirts, golf pants, and shorts, perfectly handcrafted by our skilled artisans who will bring your vision to life. Prepare to stand out from the crowd with Divine Nine's Custom Clothier, official clothier of Seth Joyner. Custom clothing made for you.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
How do you make sure your next vehicle purchase is a quality vehicle priced right? Go to DavisCertified.com.
Every Davis certified pre-owned vehicle has a 60-day, 2,000-mile powertrain warranty, plus 2 years of free oil changes, a 3-day exchange policy, and a free Carfax report.
Get peace of mind, drive certified at DavisCertified.com.
Pride, passion, and persistence. These are the values that drive us all at Ron Jaworski Golf. We strive to deliver outstanding conditions as well as playability for golfers of all ages and abilities. Our championship golf courses offer a variety of challenges from a link-style walk along the river to an escape into the pines and everything in between. My team at Ron Jaworski Golf is committed to delivering memorable experiences every single day. See all we do at RonJaworskiGolf.com.
It's the most wonderful time with the kids jingle. Be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful.
Whether your phone's broken or old, we've got you. With Verizon, anyone can trade in any phone, any condition. And get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. And iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all three on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
This is Parks.
This is how you roll. This is how it goes. This is how you pop. This is how you rock. Take a chance, do a dance, little romance. This is how you. This is how you excite. This is how you all night. 360 hit me. Now we're going all in. I can feel it calling. The crowd, the light, the night, the sights, the vibe is right. This is how you.
Most people don't know how to get the care they need. The experts at Stay at Home Care can help. Before choosing a caregiver or family member for your care, you need to apply for the Home Care Program. The application process can be complicated. Stay at Home Care can help you navigate through every step. Once approved, your caregiver or family member will receive guaranteed weekly pay, a variety of medical benefits options, paid holidays, paid vacation, and overtime pay. Call Stay at Home Care, here to help every step of the way.